Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I'm going to try to rescue the living trees in this forest that had a serious heat beating a few years ago, and then, well, I thought that maybe they would recover, but no, I only think there's 5 alive, so I'm going to dismantle this whole thing, get the living trees in a new pot. Well, I'm going to use the sandstone slab that I made and just try to create a nice little group with 5 trees, which I can in the coming years probably get a little bigger with other trees, adding some more. But first see what we can do and how the trees are doing. It's always a sad thing to lose trees. So I'm just going to get all the rocks off and then the moss. This is a little birch which I probably will try to save. You see, this one is a dead one. I'm quite sure of that. Yeah, sad. It was a nice tree. Same here. I think that one's dead. So if you see that the roots are just breaking off, it's quite obvious they're dead. So this is going to leave me with quite some mess here. Rocks, and then the rocks that I used to make the surroundings. I think this one is dead. It's always possible just to scratch the bark. Yep, this one's dead too. This one's alive. You can see the bud swelling. So this one too. This one's dead. I've been looking in advance, so I think that I have a quite good, yeah, there's almost no bark left on the trunk here. This one's okay, I think. This one's dead. Just checking. You see they are all black here. This one's dead. And this one. And this one, and this one, and this one. Which leaves me, this one's okay, which leaves me with 5 trees, like I thought. Now, yeah, just going to get these ones out. This is the little birch, which I will save. So, I have 2 trays here, the ones that I'm going to use for the living and one for the deceased, which is sad. Okay, so probably this one is gonna have a whole lot of roots. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a big difference. So just going to remove the rocks here. This one has quite some roots too, so that's very good. See, there's obviously a difference between the living ones and the dead ones. So this is also living. Okay, put it here. And I think these 2 are living, and they come with quite a lot of roots, obviously, which is very nice. Like so. Well, I can live with that. So, let me clean this up and I'll be right back. So here we have the 5 living trees. And, well, must say, the roots are looking good on that one. So, can probably shorten this just a little. I'll have to get them in the new planting. Then I'll try to separate these ones. I have nice moss here, but you know, moss is a problem when you try to get a nice bark. This one doesn't have a whole lot of roots, but I think that it's just one tree that just made it, so I'm not going to cut back any of these roots, and I'll find a way to put them in the new pot. You see, this is probably a dead root here. No, there's a living one here, so I need to let these things recover. So not going to cut anything here. This one seems a little more happy, but also removing the moss. I'm glad that one made it. It already had a very nice spreading root base, but still some problems. This root looks dead, so I'll cut it back up to here. You see, we have a green part and a dead part, so what's that shouldn't be kept. So removing all this old soil and I feel that the moss here is, there's still a piece of wire here that I probably should remove now. I used that to thicken the base because I had some reverse taper, and now it's in the tree, so the part that is in it can stay in it. But here probably I will have to remove some roots, and all the roots that I see here is not from the tree. You see, these are weeds. The white ones are the weeds. So I'm not going to plant that in the new forest. Well, it's not going to be a forest. It's going to be a group. The forest, you will need more than 5 trees, which I will have eventually. The coming years. I already air layered a few ones, so probably this is not going to be needed. This is more than enough root for this little tree, and it has some nice roots here, so yeah, that's good. And then we have 2 small ones, probably with acceptable roots, but most probably with a lot of weeds too. So it's gonna be a small forest for a small group, but it might be fun to watch it grow. Not too much roots, so I'm not going to do a lot about that. And then we have the last one. Like that, and then get rid of the moss. The root spread is not very good here. We have different layers of roots, so maybe I'll try to remove this one, which is a little too high, and this one. Which gives me more than enough roots left, I think. Just a little trim, and off it goes. So, the new pot. This is the sandstone cement slab that I made, and well, yeah, I painted it, and well, some of the paint is going away, so maybe I should redo some parts. But since these parts are on the outside, I don't think it's a problem to plant something in it. And maybe mix the paint with the acrylic varnish is good, because this looks really strong and water resistant, so I'll probably do that. So let me get some soil here. I already have the drainage screens, and yeah, that's gonna be okay. Planting forests, well, that's always nice. So okay, let's start with a good layer of substrate here. And I mean a good layer, like so. Because I think one of the problems that I had with the other forest is, well, when it gets dry, you don't have too much soil. The whole pot gets dried out, and then you're in trouble. Okay, I also prepared some rocks that I could use in the composition, but that's not the primary plan. The primary plan is to use these rocks to fix the trees when you put them in the composition, because that's always a tricky part. So I was thinking to put the big one here. I'm trying to get this on camera as well as I can. Maybe I should move the camera a little more to the back. Yeah, I think I'm almost there now. Okay, so here I have a little hollow if I don't mount this. So good thing about these trees, of course, is that they've been growing in a tray for a couple of years now, and so the roots are quite flat, which is a problem you have when you do not when you plant trees for the first time in a forest. So I want the big one, maybe a little more to the center, a little more. Not completely in the center, but it has to be the main feature, and it's leaning slightly towards the viewer, so I think that's good. So I'll comb these roots out. And what goes over the pot, well, I'll probably shorten it just a little, but I'll tuck it in, because I think that these trees had a difficult time. So this one's okay. Then the second biggest tree, which is this one. So we have nice roots here, and I'll probably put it next to this one, but then you see that I will have to mount it a little, which is not a problem. So I'll put it just a little bit in the back, and this will be the top, which looks okay. So here again I need to mount this. That's good. I'm just going to put a little rock on top of that one. I think that's not bad. Maybe open it up a little more. So this one should be really straight. So a little more soil here. This one should be straight, and this one should grow a little away from this one. Not too much. I don't like these completely, how should I say, slanting trees in a forest. This never looked natural to me. So some more soil. This one quite straight. That's always the thing with these forests. You always add soil, and then at the end it's a mountain. But yeah, every tree has to be where it's supposed to be. That's why you never see anyone, well, rarely, dismantling a whole forest, because it's such a difficult task to get it right. So I think that's okay. Maybe a little more to the front and slanting to the left. Okay. So I'm going to put a rock here to keep these two where I want them. Well, that rock doesn't even look bad, does it? Okay. I'm going to open up these roots, which I will also try to tuck in as much as I can. Well, I have to reduce some of it, but okay. Yep, and same in the back. Good. Now, this one has already buds that are starting to grow, and this looks quite acceptable as a front, but then on the other hand the roots tell me something else, so it's difficult. Maybe I'll try to get that one here. Then I have another one that has almost the same diameter but is a little shorter, so I think I'll try my luck with this one over here. I don't know. If I look at the shape of the trunk, this might be nice. So if I put it that way, it's okay. If I put it that way, it looks straight. But here I have a good root spread, so I'll try something in the middle, like so. What do you think? That's not bad, I think. So, a little closer to the main tree, and I'll put a rock on it. And then I have this one, not really strong, but looks kind of nice. So maybe here in the back would be good. So a little more soil here. And then the really small one. How about I put this one more in the front and the small one in the back? That's a really small one. And that's, well, I think that's not bad. Should avoid to have 3 trees in the same line. But you know, these are guidelines and not really rules. Well, anyway, follow the rules if you must. If you don't want, just don't. So, I think this is acceptable. I'm going to try to fix these trees now, because obviously they're falling over. That's better. So this one is fixed, and then this one. Okay, so I'm going to work this all in now. Tuck the roots in of the bigger ones, just slightly trim the roots. Try to save as much roots as I can. And long roots like this on trees that don't have a whole lot of roots, well, I will shorten them just a little and then guide them towards the side of the pots, and they will help the tree to grow. Maybe I'm not sure about that. I'd like to have a little one here, just right here, and then I can move that one back. So I think I'll do that. So that little one here, and that one right where I thought it should be in the beginning. Yeah, that looks okay. So I'm going to work this in and then we'll be back. I'm almost done here. And well, took quite some soil. It's always amazing. Just have one problem here. I think that here at the back I should have had a rock that was a little higher, so it's soil is falling out, but I can probably just put a little extra rock here that should fill up this gap. And it's gonna make the whole thing a little stronger. I think that will do. No, it's not good. It's moving. That's the better angle. Yeah. That's good. That's gonna help. So, okay. Now I just maybe need a little more moss to get everything nice and in position. So let's have a look at the trees. So the big one here, it's okay, quite straight coming towards us. This one, yeah, still have room for extra little trees here and here in the back. So this one should be a little more straight, I think. It's always just a question of holding the tree where you want him and then adjusting the soil around it. That's why it takes so much time to make a forest. That's better. It's not perfect yet. Of course, what you can do also is just put a rock against it and then it'll fix itself. So that's maybe too big of a rock, so I'm going to get something smaller. That little one might do the trick. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. So this rock is not there to stay, but it's good. This one's rather straight, so I think that's fine. Yeah. And now I'm going to apply some little parts of moss just to give it some more color. And also it's a good thing to push down some of the roots that you did not get completely buried the way they should have been. Here I have a big plain of nothing, so some color. Maybe a little bit in the back, which is something that I always like, some moss in the back. And a few details here in the front. And again, not trying to make it symmetric. So because this is a stone plantation, let's maybe add a few rocks to make it look a bit more interesting, just for decoration. So I have this one, I don't know, or this one, which is a really nice one. could put it here. Looks like it's making this tree move, but it's in the good direction, so I'm not complaining. And then you need to bury the rock a little, because you don't want it to look like you just put it on top of it. And maybe a small rock, something here in the front, so, and maybe one here. So let me find two small rocks. So I took two from the previous forest. This one's nice because it's got already some moss growing on it. I think it's going to look great here. And then this one is a long one, which is also quite cool. And it also has some moss on it. But maybe I'd like to see the rock a little more, and then I'll bury the moss. So, I like it. Let's have a look. So here's the little group from the front. We have, see, the separation between the trees is never the same. And when you look at it from all angles, well, it's not really perfect, but no trees are in, well, you don't have three trees in the same line from no angle. So that's, well, according to the book. But these guidelines, these rules, they have some meaning. It's just because it looks natural and good this way. So that's why these guidelines exist. It's not random. So I think that's good. So here's a final shot of everything. I think it's looking okay. As you see, I added quite a lot of big rocks to keep everything nicely in position. But in a couple of weeks, these big roots can be removed. So, well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.